So let me make it a little bit smaller. Model 3, sorry, is about general guidance and cross-cutting elements of GG inventory. Basically, this is about, like I would say, umbrella for GG inventory. It's about QA/QC activities, about key category analysis, about uncertainty analysis. Why, I mean, do we need why countries, why inventory compilers should complete and conduct these estimates? What is the reason behind? How to use outcomes and result from this QA/QC activities, key category analysis and uncertainty analysis. What are requirements in terms, I mean, what are MPG requirements in terms of these elements? And also important to note here that these three are elements of flexibility provisions. So if Uganda is going to apply flexibility in the future, how to use flexibility in relation to this element. Also, how to develop an improvement plan and how to, let's say, use this in the future. What is the objective to this and why we need it. And model number 4, it's about institutional coordination and data sharing. So what we are going to propose here, so it's about institutional arrangement for GG data system, what type of data sharing frameworks might be established in order to get data, what kind of operational procedures for data collection might be created and also be operationalized, how to engage and what is the way to engage stakeholders in GG data provision. So all these items and topics will be covered. And the last one, the model 5, it's about GG knowledge management. So we will touch upon strategies for generating, management, and disseminating of GG-related knowledge products. So archiving that is required, such as shell requirements for under MPGs. So we will also touch upon this. Again, QA/QC documentation. I wouldn't say that a shell, so flexibility might be applied here, but still, in order to apply flexibility, countries need to define time frame for improvement. So that is also important to know here, in particular for QA/QC, but also it's related to flexibility provision in general. So on institutional arrangements and role in knowledge management. So we will also provide some information and guidance on this, how to use different digital tools and platforms for data collection, how to document and manage expert judgment, that is also important for archiving and for inventory purposes. In general, integration with MRV systems, to how to establish and management sectoral MRV systems and how to link them with GG, national GG data management platform, and so also we'll touch upon on communication with of GG information to different stakeholders. And that is all from my side. So thank you for your attention. If any questions, please let me know.
Okay, thank you so much, Olga, for the presentation. I think it has been a mouthful. And given that we're in the afternoon session, and I know many of us tend to meditate a bit when it comes to that, I want to give a provision for our participants who haven't, or who would like some clarification on what has been presented or introduced in the different modules. But whereas these questions will go to the presenter online, I also know we have the team from Future Energies who will be able to respond to some. But also I'd like to give an opportunity to those who participated in the first training to shine. So feel free to respond to certain issues that may come up in your sector. So by show of hands, any comments, areas for clarification to the presentation? No one? Yes, Roger.
Thank you, I'm the only one. Okay, I'm Rogers Najuka. Gender. So, but my concern is that I seem to be, apart from the general courses that I saw, okay, the modules, especially the institutional coordination and something like that, they seem to be more few sectors compared to what we have. We seem to have many sectors. Because I saw transport, energy, and others, of course, gender was a bit missing. Though it's in the middle there. Maybe I can find myself there, but I didn't see more of the sectors that we have. Possibly they need to be included. Can we have a module that involves everyone? And then where do you place gender if I'm interested into this course? Basically, I'm interested, but where do I go basically? Thank you.
So may I take this question? If I understood correctly, so we have 5 IPC. Again, if I understood correctly your question, so we have 5 IPCC sectors. So that is energy, energy including transport, IPPU, agriculture, what else? LULUCF and waste. And basically, for each sector, we are going to present like full coverage of activities which should be considered within one or another model or sector, right? And based on this information, so you may already see what type of activity you are interested in, and may join one or another sector based on this. Because IPCC guidelines provide clear structure, what should be reported within, like, for example, energy, what type of activities should be covered, and what type of emissions should be reported in order to be comparable with other countries. And yeah, we have list of activities, we have list of sources for each IPCC sector, and so this information will be provided, and based on this, you may decide already.
Thank you very much. My question is on module 2. I was wondering if I'm from a certain sector, for example, energy, because I saw module 2 has sections 2.1, 2.2, something like that. Do I have to train on all those sub-modules, or the training will be tailored only energy subsector? Thank you.
Well, again,
Justin, we have a hand this side.
Go ahead, sorry.
Olga, maybe you want to pick a series of questions, then we shall respond in one go.
Well, if you are from Model 2, from industrial processes, but since some activities or activity data cross-cutting or linking to energy. So it's important to understand where to report first, right? So if it's some activities under APPU but with links to energy, so I would say my suggestion is just, if you are limited in time, just to focus on this cross-cutting. So that's basically that just was reason to for us to include this clarification of boundaries between APPU and energy, as we are discussing, in order to clearly understand what is the linkage and where to report and how to treat information. So again, so once you have a list of activities, once you have explanation what type of sources should be considered under energy or APPU, so you may focus on what is particularly interested for you and proceed with the training, if I answered to your question.
Justin, you had your hand.
Thank you very much. The presentation on the energy side showed the aspects of energy generation, consumption as well. However, it also captured the aspects on fugitive emissions. I wanted some breakdown on what is captured under fugitive emissions, and also on the energy side we have mining activities. So especially in the extraction part, where would that fall? Would that fall on the energy side or on the industry side? I would need some clarification on how, where would apply actually mining activities. Then secondly, the abbreviations would need more of a breakdown on the abbreviations such as the MPGs, and also an understanding of, why we would need to then, shift from Tier 1 to Tier 2 reporting, etc. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Well, for sure, we will provide all explanation for abbreviation. What is this MPG about? Why we are referring to this? That is the topic to be, and basically that is quite fundamental topic to be discussed within the first model. And again, once you have list, you may see where to put your attention. That is one, and another one. So you mentioned why do we need to move from Tier 1 and to Tier 2, and what is, let's say, basis to decide. So that is this question will be answered under model. Model cross-cutting. Just let me. Model 3. When we are going to talk about key category analysis, basically that is answer. Key category analysis show us, and basically that is the basis to see for which categories we need to apply Tier 2 or for which Tier 1. Because if one or another source is significant enough within the country, so country should make efforts to apply Tier 2 in order to make Tier 2 approach in order to make estimates more accurate. But again, this particular, I would say, response or answer will be given under Model 3, General Guidance and Cross-Cutting, on fugitives under energy, and MPGs Model 1, because that is input, that is basis, that is main guiding document nowadays for countries to proceed with reportings, with change inventory, NTC tracking, projections, with everything.
Any other questions? Okay, maybe before Dr. Gerard comes in, let me also speak to one or two things. on the sectors, Rogers, maybe just to bring to your attention that there are sectors that are identified as emitting sectors, sectors through whom or from whose activities there are direct emissions. So when you look at a sector like energy, if you're looking at fuel combustion, or even when you look at transport, when cars use fuel, emissions are emitted into the atmosphere. So at the global level, there's a guidance provided on those sectors and classification of those sectors. So why we don't have a sector like gender is because even if you pick gender, it falls within one of these sectors. If, say, a lady, I know people assume gender is women, but gender is more than women, as Dr. Feli will tell you. So for example, you'll find, even if I'm in the gender sector, emissions are from activities relating to either, say, energy use or emissions relating to, all the ladies who have driven here today have emitted, but those are counted for under energy, transport, right? Energy and transport. So there's a classification of specific sectors whose activities directly lead to emissions of these greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. So it's not that we are leaving out other sectors of the economy, but our interest is on those sectors whose activities directly lead to the emissions of these gases into the atmosphere. Then there was a question regarding if you are in the energy sector, should you go through all the different modules? I don't think it is necessary, because if I'm in energy, my interest is in what specifically is in 2A. If, say, I'm in the transport sector, of course, because of the relation between the transport and energy, you might be interested in picking that, but it's not a must that if you are under energy, you must do the module on IPPU, or you must do the module on West and the like. No. So whichever sector you pick based on your expertise or your interests, would prefer that you go through that entire sector training.
Okay. Yeah, yes, I want to highlight, you are going to be divided across sectors. So our plea is that you stick to your respective sector. Otherwise, we are going to have one person in about 5, and then it will be a bit confusing. It's already going to be a good load for you, trust me. For those that attended the first training, it's going to really be a good load. So I think, for knowledge purposes, one could peep into the other sector to see what's really going on. But we would prefer that you stick to your respective sector and try. I was telling people during lunch that we would prefer that when we are doing this training, try to relate it to as much as possible to your current workload that you have. And perhaps if you're working for maybe within a reporting department that is contributing to the emissions reporting. So it's best that the examples that we are going to use, should you try to put yourself in that kind of situation, and that you probably would customize that to your very example at work, and try to gather as much data from your own practices that you would substitute for that. Otherwise, we are not going to give an example for everything, but rather we give you an example, especially for those that are very common to our respective areas, and then you try to use that and try to cascade it to your own example. So I just wanted to make that very clear. And if there are no additional questions, so I want to have raised more questions.
Which is okay. There is a question at the back, and then 2.
Yes. Hello. I think the issue of there's an issue which was raised by Madame Justin about disaggregating, like differentiating between energy and minerals, because in our for example, in our ministry, there is energy sector, then there is greenhouse emissions from minerals and what and what. I think if maybe for the trainers to going forward, to bring out that thing so that now the minerals sector can also really see how to track their emissions in that regard. I don't know if it can work going forward.
Thank you. Once again, I'm Mwichi Oscar from Ministry of Energy. And just to add to what our colleagues from Future Energy were saying, they say that they're going to, distribute the sectors per those categories you listed. And under IPPUs, it was mentioned that you're going to do more understanding of scope 1, 2, 3 emissions, of which scope 3 emissions of IPPU include the extractives that are coming from the mining sector. I know we've been reporting on cement, steel, and what else? Mainly cement and steel, but it has been mainly scope 2 emissions that are from the products that are gotten from industries. But how about the emissions that are being produced before these ores, the steel ores reach the industry, and even at the tail end, once they've left the industries and they're being exported? So I believe, I'm seeing Ministry of Energy also giving some contribution to the scope 1 and 3 emissions, beside the scope 2 that we've been reporting on. Thank you.
So thank you for the question and remark. Just to note, the scope 1, 2, 3, it's not the part of international reporting. So basically, when we are doing trainings, we are not focusing on the scopes, I would say here. Just not to confuse, but since Uganda requested this training, so we are going to show what is the difference between IPCC 1 and also the scope 1, 2, and 3, and how to define it. Just this particular element or topic will be, briefly explained and touched on in order again to demonstrate make difference, and avoid any further confusion for the participants. But again, scopes are not a part of IPCC, this international or UNFCCC reporting.
Thank you, Olga. I think okay, thank you, Olga, for that. But I think let me provide some context on that, and probably also add some flesh to your response. So the idea initially was that when it comes to the national greenhouse gas reporting, inventory reporting, we have the IPCC guidelines and methodologies, right, which prescribe how we'll do the different methodologies, how we can report from these different sectors. Now, what happened was, because different experts highlighted the fact that sometimes they have maybe say projects or different partners who would like them to be able to identify emissions within maybe say their institutions or their operations. And because we know that under the GHG protocol, for example, they are the ones who bring in the aspect of scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. So scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 emissions are not part of the national inventory reporting, but they are more for institutions that would like to understand what usually you call your carbon footprint, or, So that's why we requested that the team doing the training helps sectors as well to understand or pick an idea of how they can support stakeholders in their sectors if they would like to understand the scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions. So this could be, for example, institutional. If you say, which institution? If Future Energies, for example, wanted to understand their footprint, right? They'll do the scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. Now, when you look at how the scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 are arranged, it is different from the framework of the IPCC, because the IPCC categorizes the nation into specific sectors that emit. So even if I want to do scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3, that is a bit skewed towards organizational reporting of their carbon footprints. And so it is just something additional that we had requested the trainers to assist our stakeholders. So that will be done for all. I don't think it's going to be done only for IPPU. It's going to be the introduction on how to do the scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 reporting will be done across all the different sectors.
So thank you very much. Olga, thank you very much for that interesting presentation. So I think we are going to have to release Olga because she has probably another meeting. Now, we want to get into the... I want to invite
her. Doctor wants to take over my role. Should I give him my role or should I? Am I not doing a good job? So, Olga, thank you so much for your presentation. Would engage you to stay on if you can, but as well if you have another meeting. Thank you so much. I think the team behind will be able to address any other concerns that may arise from the discussions. Now, I want to take us into another presentation. It is not complicated. Yes, before she comes, I'll give you the microphone. But like you remember, Dr. Gwamba had indicated that this training we're going to use a platform called Atara. So, Doctor, I'll give you to say a word or two, then you'll invite Helen, who will come and take the participants through how that Atara works. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. So now we are going to be using an LMS platform, and we have already got all your emails. Hopefully, we have already got all your emails because we will need to set up your accounts on the platform so that you are able to access these materials. I have just been having a small discussion with the AFRI team. We're hopeful that perhaps next week we are able to identify a suitable time. Maybe Dr. Feli will confirm the time for us to utilize at least 2 hours for you to get more familiar with the platform. You should be able to log in. Every one of you should be able to log in and look at the platform and get familiar before the actual training begins. So, Dr. Feli, Wednesday, is everybody hopefully available on Wednesday in the morning session? Dr. Feli, can we book 11? Say 11? So maybe, yes, maybe we'll communicate the time, but Wednesday would be suitable from the AFRI's side, and we hope that we can get everybody familiar with using the platform. So today is just for us to get acquainted to how the Atara system looks like, and maybe Helen, you could come and if you could share your screen from there. Okay, looks like Helen wants to speak from we don't need a lot of time, just a minimum of 1.5 to 2 hours. The time is raising a lot more. It's a critical day.
Okay, let's, before we agree on that, and before I dictate, let's maybe have Helen first present the platform, because when she presents, some of us may not even need to be part of the Wednesday meeting, depending on how fast we grasp how the Atara works, right?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Helen. So I'm going to take you through the Atara system, because this is the platform that you're going to be using. So the system is called Atara. So Atara management system. So the first step is, let's start with I think you're able to see the interface there. Then we go to users. So when you look at the users we have here, so I would request that one of you can give me their email so that we use it for demonstration. Sorry? Thank you so much. So I request now that you check your email, because I hope you've gotten a notification to log in. So this system is very easy, and I know you're not going to have difficulty using it. So have you gotten any notification? Not yet. Maybe you can check in your spam. Eh? What about now? Do you have it? Or we can have another.
Yes.
So after you're going to go and check your email, eh?
Even I can check.
So if you've got the email, you've gotten the notification. Yes? A notification is like a message, because you're going to get a message that will give you access to the platform. So you can log in to the Atara system. So the next step, can you please log in? You've logged in. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to enroll you to the courses. So we have a course that we've used as a demo that I'm going to enroll you to. So can you access that course? So So it is as easy as eating hello. So that is all for the system. So what we're going to do is we're going to use all your emails, and then we put you on, we log you in the system, and then you'll be able to access the materials. That's when the training is. Thank you.
Okay, before we get into the questions, Helen, you are done?
I'm done.
Give her a round of applause, please. So, I know there are a few questions, but also I think a call to action to you, Helen, and your team is probably you'll need to organize. I think this is the meeting we're talking about on Wednesday, where we take participants through, okay, now that I've been enrolled, what does the interface look like? How do I access my course? Is this platform supposed to only be accessed when you have internet, or can I access the course material offline? All those things, but for now I'm going to open to just 2 or 3 questions. You want more questions? Let me first give the questions, then you'll respond at once.
So this system is an online system that you can, if you have the internet, you can access it. So if you don't have the internet, it will be sorry for you.
Dr. Philly, you see how we need money for internet?
She's called who? Helen. Presenter Helen, thank you for the presentation. I wanted to inquire from you. You've not given us a background of this system and why this system, and some of the issues have already been highlighted, whether it is web-based and whether it is not web-based. Do we have a module which you can work on offline? Now, doctor is interrupting. You may not pick my issue. Yes, is there a module where you can work offline, then upload when you have internet? Because some systems can work, you can work offline, then upload when you have internet. Others, you can only access when you have internet, and you can only work when you have internet. Now, that background, you have not set it up. Number 2, you've not told us why Atara and why this system, not another system, to ensure that we do this thing.
So let me help Helen to answer all the questions. Why Atara? Because of its simplicity. It is simple to use, it has a very simple interface, and it is very, I would say, it's very light. It means that if you have a mobile phone, you can simply log in from, as long as you have internet, just like Helen has said. Whether you are in the garden, whether you are in your own space, log in and complete whichever activities you want. Now, the challenge with some of our other systems perhaps is portability. The images might not really come out clearly. Then sometimes it has access restrictions. This is really light, and it has been tested, and I think it should be able to deliver. Now, maybe what she needs to show our participants, this presentation was supposed to be small because we are going to have a real training on accessing Atara. How do you log in? How does the interface look like? Where do I navigate? Where do I find the resources that I need for the training? So just to give you a bit of snapshot into the system, that is how the page is going to be presented. So you see that you have several tabs, and that is your interface. You'll have your lessons on one side. You have some videos that will upload for you from the trainers, and then you have your materials being listed, and you see the course outline. As Olga has gone through the materials, all the materials are going to be lined up for that respective sector. So it is really going to be that simple. But I wanted us not to go a lot of in-depth right now, because there is a whole session that is really going to be dedicated to navigating and how do I get access? I don't see these materials. What do I do? I beg that we reserve some of these comments for the training session on Wednesday. There is an online question. Yeah, it is purely a cloud-based system. So cloud-based, it means we don't have it installed on a desktop. You cannot download it on your PC at home and you just move with it. I would say it is a system that you move with everywhere you go. Well, like in your trainings, for example, you are going to be working with templates, correct? Yeah, so these templates, you can, of course, download them on your PC and upload on the system. That's not a problem. Downloading a form, but not the materials. The materials are going to be housed on the system, so you can always interact with them as and when you need. But some of these forms that you need, it's possible that you can always upload. We have several options for you. Because I'm sure some people might worry about the data costs. Now, if I'm going to be able to download everything and then, I mean, how do I manage the data? Please, for some specific forms, we can speak with the trainers and we can make some flexibilities here and there.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gerard and Helen. I think your concerns have been addressed, but also, key to note is that in the training, we shall be using like the IPCC software. So this is something you'll have download and install on your computer. Good thing is you don't need internet to use it, but you need internet to download it. And then, of course, the material is what you should be able to download. This will mainly be like presentations and the like, but the Excel files that you'll use for your data, those you'll have. It is 3:30, colleagues. I want us to get into the way forward, and then we close, unless there is. Yeah, I think there's one more hand. I can give you the microphone.
Thank you. And I want to thank really the entire team for the good job so far done. I think this goes to you, Isaac. I think you brought it out, the issue of time. And I just thought, is this kind of program going, now that it is going to be divided into different sectors, my assumption is that each sector will be doing training on its own. So they can decide and agree on the time that favors them. Is it how it is going to be? Thank you.
I think, Dr. Feli, you are going to answer that question because you have a very strong no.
Thank you. You know, we are very many, even within our own sectors. Getting all of us together is not very easy. So if we leave everyone to avail time for this, we will never start training. We will never finish the training. So next week, we will have the training materials, the training schedule, and we requested, in my presentation, I requested you to request your institution to make time for you to train. I also requested you to be committed to the training. At least that's what I presented before thanking the donors. So please let our institutions know that we are needed for the training. For your information, at the beginning of this month, on the 2nd of April, we had a high-level engagement with all your permanent secretaries. So they are aware of this project, they are aware of the training, and we also requested them to avail you. So we will use this report of this meeting to kind of remind them that you will be needed for the training, for your good, for their good, for Uganda's good. So I think this is clear. We will have a schedule that will follow. Thank you.
Dr. Tashobia, are you contented or you still want to set your own schedule? But I think, thank you, Dr. Feli. I think like we have all agreed, it is not practical that you wait for the sector to set their own timelines. What should be critical is that we are going to engage the trainers, come up with a schedule of your activities for each sector, right? And then share these with the sectors well in time so that they can adjust their programs accordingly to fit within the training schedule that we shall have set. I think that is a much better option. Oh, we forgot about our online participants. There is no one who is...
I think the question was on the, shall we have some practical sessions, which I talked about. There is going to be some practical sessions, especially on the gas chromatography, and I think details also are going to come out next week about that plan, but that is going to be a selected team based on, of course, your institutions.
Okay, thank you so much. So I want us to get into the way forward. And first things first is next week. I heard people whispering Wednesday. Can we have the training on the Atara platform? Next week, Wednesday. Let's preferably put it at 11, probably 11 to 1 o'clock to give us time to deal with any office-related work. And then the next way forward is that by Gerard, when do you think we'll have the training materials disseminated to all the participants?
Training materials are going to be available next week.
Okay, so next week as well, we shall have our training materials. And then also the training plan. We need a training plan for each sector because you see that there's the schedule, but I want us to have, for example, if you're going to have module 1, when are we going to do module 1 for energy? For all sectors, have some kind of plan. Why this is important is because when you look at a sector like energy, you have participants from the Ministry of Energy, you have participants from POW, you have participants from UETCL, UEGCL, and the like. So all these have to sync into that schedule. So please organize schedules for each of these different sectors so that they can be able to reorganize their calendar so that they can fall in line with the schedule that you intend to use. Then the other thing that I think is critical, and this I think we'll discuss internally with our management at CCD, is on the years for consideration for the inventory, because we look at a time series of data, probably 1990 all through to 2023, 24, 25, I don't know. But also, this is something we shall discuss as CCD and then communicate to, we'll discuss as CCD and the PMU, and then we'll communicate to each of the sectors. Why this is important is because it also speaks to the issue of data availability. So, as you disseminate these training materials, we need the sector participants to also understand what kind of data they need for their sectors so that they are able to avail this data, because we want at the end of the training, before you get your certificate, you show us your inventory. Right? So I think that makes a good way forward. Is there anything that you feel I have missed that one or two people would like to add to? Okay. Seeing that there are no other questions, no other hands, I would like to thank you all on my own behalf as the moderator for participating at this launch event for our training. So please, let's give ourselves a round of applause. No. You people didn't listen to Professor in the morning. This is the problem. Let's go. One more time. Okay, let's now change it. Let's do it for the sectors. Energy, transport, IPPU, waste resources, agriculture, forestry and other land use, then CBIT and AFRI. Then the climate change department. Yes, because we are partners in this, Dr. Ferry. Finally, to the moderator, I think I've done a good job. One more time. Okay, so allow me to invite Miss Irene Chekwoti to come and adjourn us until the next time we shall be meeting. From me to you, thank you so much for being very active participants.
It's been a long day, right? Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I thought it would be louder because we are closing. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much. And I'm glad that our moderator was able to drum his own drum. And I think he did a good job. Very good job. Yeah, thank you very much, Isaac, for the long day that you've taken us through, moderating all day. It's not very easy to speak the whole day, by the way, especially if you're not a teacher by profession. But also to all of us who have been so focused the whole day. It's not very easy because we are not very young, but we decided to remain focused. Okay, my colleague Carol says she's young, it's fine. But, but the fact that you're working, you're not still very young. You're not a student, a pupil. So we are really adults. And so I really thank you very much, adults, for being very cooperative, for being very focused today. I don't want to take a lot of time because we've had speeches in the morning, we have presentations, but I really just want to re-echo that let's get ready to learn. It's going to be some long journey, but I think it's going to be a nice experience. For those who learned during COVID time, they had good time because the focus was only that, and maybe cooking and eating and walking, exercising. But this time is going to be a little bit tough, and it will be for the tough that will keep going and finalize the course. So we encourage you to commit your time to the training so that at the end, we come out as experts. You heard in the morning from the Commissioner of Climate Change. He said that the objective of this training is for us to have a pool of experts in the country on GHG inventory estimations. So if that's the objective that we are all carrying forward, then we just have to commit ourselves to the cause. So I want to thank again the CBIT team, the PMU, AFRI team. Thank you very much, in partnership, of course, with myself and my colleagues. Thank you very much for organizing for this event. Yeah, it's not very easy to bring all these different experts in the room because it's a diverse group of people. And I really appreciate the team for coming up with a very robust list of participants for this workshop. I think they thank the sectors already, all of you really appreciate your participation and your commitment. I want to call upon the private sector on and stake actors that could be in the room and they're wondering, so where do they attach themselves? Since we're talking about sectors, I think we made it clear that you need to attach yourself to a sector that your work that you contribute to. If you're contributing to energy, then you should be able to attach yourself to the energy sector. And the same thing if you're on waste or transport or whatever it is, agriculture, attach yourself to a specific sector. And that's the only way that we can get going. We can learn in a very, in a manner that will be coherent, as opposed to you jumping from here to there, because there's a lot of work and you cannot do all this work at the same time. You can't learn all these sectors. So focus on one for now and be an expert in that sector. And at the end, we'll be able to have a pool of experts. We have 1 or 2 experts that we know in the room, and they're really overwhelmed. So we need more experts so that we are able to have a pool of you, so that anytime we're able to call on you and we can work together, work together to come up with our national greenhouse gas inventory. I want to apologize that I didn't recognize the participants online, but participants online, is not easy to remain online the whole day. I really appreciate you, and I think we didn't clap for them. Can we just do it? 1, 2, 3, go. Thank you very much for remaining online all day through. That shows your commitment in this training. So ladies and gentlemen, with all that, and knowing that next week on Wednesday, by Wednesday or next week, we'll be having all the training materials online, and we'll be able to know the schedules, so we keep our ears on the ground. And we're looking forward to, you should be looking forward to the communication from us, so that we are able to start the program rolling. So with that, I would like to just bring this inception workshop to a close by wishing you a safe journey and really appreciating all your efforts. I do this on behalf of the Commissioner, Climate Change Department. For God and my country, God bless you, and see you online next week.
Maybe I am not supposed to come back, but one small announcement or two. Firstly, the focal points, sector focal points. Please, Dr. Phil would like to see you. We have Professor Kasimbazi, who's supporting the process. Who's supporting the process for the MOUs, the data sharing agreement. So please stick around for just about 5 minutes. Dr. Phil would like to have an engagement with you. But also there is a form moving around on each table. Please don't go until you sign that form, because we need to verify your email addresses when it comes to us sending you the Atara thing. Okay, thank you so much.